You don't get a burrow. You get dirt. Months ago, your mother dug a hole, maybe stole one from an orange-footed scrub fowl, laid her eggs, covered them up, and walked away forever. That's it. No warm den, no protective parent, just warm volcanic soil. The first sensation isn't a comforting nuzzle, it's the frantic scraping of your own tiny claws against eggshell, then dirt. You hatch into darkness, alongside maybe 20 brothers and sisters, none of whom are your friends. Survival instinct number one isn't find mom, it's get out and get up. The moment you break the surface, the world is heat, blinding light, and the overwhelming smell of, well, everything, including danger. You're small, bite-sized, and incredibly vulnerable. You don't hear your own squeak because you don't squeak. You scramble. There's no welcoming committee, no watchful eye. In fact, any larger version of yourself you encounter sees you as a convenient snack. Yes, your biggest threat right from the start is your own kind. Cannibalism isn't a taboo. It's Tuesday, so you don't look for mom, you look for a treat. Fast. Your early life is spent in the branches. It's safer up here, mostly. Birds of prey are still a problem, but at least the 3-meter-long tanks patrolling the ground can't easily climb after you. Life is a desperate scramble for insects, geckos, maybe the occasional bird egg if you're lucky and daring. You learn by watching, hiding, and sheer terror. You see the giants below basking like living boulders, occasionally tearing apart a carcass with horrifying efficiency. You learn the smell of decay means food, but also means competition and extreme risk. There are no lessons, no guidance, just the brutal reality. Get big enough to not be eaten, or get eaten. It sucks. Months turn into a year, maybe 2. You're growing, getting heavier. The trees that were your sanctuary are becoming precarious. Your claws are still sharp, but your weight makes climbing harder, slower. Gravity is pushing you towards the world you've been desperately avoiding. Down there, the rules are different. Size dictates everything. You start making tentative excursions to the forest floor, darting between cover, always hyper-aware of movement, of the scent of larger dragons. You graduate from bugs to rats, small snakes, anything you can overpower quickly and quietly. Your first real hunt on the ground is clumsy. You spot a rat rustling in the leaf litter. You try to mimic the patient stillness you've seen from the giants, but your nerves are shot. You lunge too soon, miss, and the rat vanishes. Frustration doesn't begin to cover it. Hunger gnaws constantly. Your next attempt involves a sleeping bird on a low branch. This time, you're slower, more deliberate. A quick snap of the jaws, a frantic flutter, and then, success. It's not much, but it's protein. It's fuel to keep growing, to keep surviving this gauntlet. Around 3 or 4 years old, you're maybe a meter long, too big for the trees, but terrifyingly small compared to the adults. This is arguably the worst phase. You're forced to live on the fringes, scavenging scraps from the kills of larger dragons, always risking their wrath. You learn the subtle art of approach. Watch from a distance, wait until the dominant diner has eaten its fill and moved off to bask, then dart in, grab a mouthful of rancid meat, and retreat before anyone notices. Get caught, and you risk becoming dessert. Your saliva is already developing its charming septic cocktail of bacteria, but it's no defense against brute force. You're not tough like a honey badger, shrugging off stings. You're vulnerable, relying on speed, stealth, and sheer luck. Your bite is becoming your primary weapon, but it's not about instant kills. Not yet. You learn the Komodo way, patience fueled by poison. You manage to ambush a small Timor deer fawn, maybe separated from its mother. You clamp down hard on its leg, tearing flesh. It kicks free and bolts. Any other predator might give chase. You wait. You follow, slowly, sometimes for days. You use your flickering tongue to taste the air, tracking the scent of your weakening prey. The bacteria in your saliva are doing their work, causing infection, blood poisoning. Your venom adds anticoagulants, ensuring the bleeding doesn't stop easily. Eventually, the fawn succumbs, collapsing from exhaustion and sepsis. You arrive, finally, to claim your meal. It's effective, yes, But it's a gruesome, drawn-out process. There's no glory, just grim, calculated waiting. It really sucks. By the time you're 6 or 7, you're approaching serious size, maybe 2 meters, 50 kilos. You're no longer just surviving, you're competing. You challenge other mid-sized dragons for access to carcasses or prime basking spots. These aren't honey badger skirmishes. They're brutal wrestling matches involving biting, tail whipping, and grappling. Scars accumulate. A torn ear here, a chunk missing from your tail there. Mating is equally violent, with males battling fiercely for the right to approach a female. Winning means propagating your genes. Losing means injury, possibly infection, possibly death. Now you're a prime adult, 3 meters long, maybe 70 or 80 kilos. You're one of the giants you used to fear. Life settles into a rhythm dictated by heat and hunger. Days are spent basking to regulate your temperature, conserving energy. Your hunting strategy is refined. Find a game trail, lie in wait, motionless for hours, sometimes days, camouflaged against the dirt and scrub. Patience is everything. Then, the explosive burst of speed, the ambush, the bite. Then, the wait. Deer, wild pigs, even water buffalo fall to your septic bite and relentless tracking. You can devour huge amounts of meat at once, storing fat in your tail, allowing you to go weeks between meals. You dominate carcasses, chasing off smaller rivals with intimidating displays, inflating your throat, hissing, maybe a short charge. Life is still dangerous. A kick from a dying buffalo can break bones, but you are the apex predator of your island. But apex doesn't mean easy. It just means your main threat is still other Komodo dragons. Bigger males will challenge you for territory, food, or mates. Fights are serious, potentially lethal. There's no bravado like the honey badger charging a leopard. It's cold, reptilian calculation mixed with brute strength. Winning solidifies your status. Losing could mean severe injury and a slow decline. You spend your days patrolling, hunting, digesting, basking. It's a solitary, grim existence, centered around the next meal and maintaining dominance. There's no pack, no camaraderie, just the endless, sun-baked struggle. Time grinds on. 10, 15, maybe 20 years pass. You're huge, ancient by Komodo standards, covered in the hieroglyphs of countless battles. But you're slower. Your bursts of speed are less explosive. Your stamina for trekking wanes. Younger, stronger males, maybe 2.5 meters long and full of aggressive ambition, start testing your boundaries. You see the same calculating look in their eyes that you once had. You still win some confrontations, relying on experience and sheer intimidating size, but each fight takes more out of you. Healing takes longer. You rely more on scavenging again, smelling death from kilometers away, hoping to get there before the competition gets too fierce. One day, the hunt goes wrong. Maybe the deer kicks harder than expected, shattering your jaw. Or maybe a younger, faster rival challenges you over a kill, and this time, you don't have the strength to prevail. The injury festers. Your own bacteria, usually your weapon, might turn against you. Or perhaps, simply, you grow too weak to hunt effectively. The constant hunger returns, but this time, there's no youthful energy to overcome it. The end, when it comes, is as unceremonious as your beginning. You find a secluded spot, perhaps under a dense thicket, feeling the ancient weariness in your bones. The relentless sun beats down. There's no final roar, no dramatic exit. You just stop. Eventually, the scent of your own decay will draw others, perhaps smaller dragons you once terrorized, now picking over your remains. The ultimate Komodo irony. You become part of the cycle you perpetuated. No one mourns. No legacy is left, except perhaps in the genes passed on during those violent mating struggles years ago. You hatched alone, you lived fighting your own kind, and you die alone, likely to be consumed by them. You were a marvel of evolution, a terrifyingly efficient predator, the king of your island. But let's be honest, from hatching naked and abandoned to ending up as food for your relatives, it sucked to be born a Komodo dragon. It really, truly sucked.